Hello everyone. First of all, congratulations to complete all basic fundamental of JavaScript that you need to know. And now onwards, we move with the functions. So I attached all JavaScript files with these resources so you can access anytime. And if you have some doubt till now, then let me know. I will definitely help you. So first of all, create a functions folder. Inside that, intro function JS. So what is functions in JavaScript? So in JavaScript, functions are blocked to reusable code that perform a specific task or calculate a value. They are fundamentally building block of JavaScript programming and are used to encapsulate a set of instructions that can be executed multiple times. Functions is reusable code of block that we allow to use multiple times. So now once function is defined that it can be called multiple times from various part of your code. So redundancy and promoting a dry approach. Dry approach that means don't repeat yourself. Dry approach that means don't repeat yourself. So first of all, how to define function and call. For that, we use function keyword and then give function name. Let's say give my function, and inside that, let's say we console hello everyone, and then we write congratulations to complete all basic concepts of JavaScript. So here we successfully created one functions. Now how to call these functions? So currently we run the JavaScript file. It does not print anything. So you can see it does not print anything. So print these two lines, we need to call this function. So my functions, here is the call function. So now it prints hello everyone. Congratulations to complete all basic concept in JavaScript. But other use allow to use multiple times. Let's say now you console something like good evening, and after you need to print another two line twice. So for that you need to copy and paste these functions. So you can see it prints two times function. So it is allowed to use multiple times. Let's say we call two times again and it prints. So after writing these three line of code, we got output of like 6 or 8 line of code. So this is the functions is reusable code of block allowed to use multiple times. In next video, we will more discuss about and what is the arguments, parameter, how many ways to create a functions, all that. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss more in depth about functions like what is return keyword, then what is parameters, then what is arguments, and also discuss about default parameters. So first of all, let us create one function my function, and inside console inside function. So for run a JavaScript file, we need to call this function, my functions. And you can see it prints inside functions. So what is use of return keyword? So if we use return keyword, that means it returns this value inside functions, but it not printed as you can see. So for when we use return keyword, we need to store into another variables like const my func is equal to, and now if we print my fun variable name, you can see it will work inside function. So when we use return keyword, it returns to the values, and after that, so print this value, we need to, and so after that we need to store this value into variables, and after that we access. Let us create another function two numbers, and it takes two numbers a and b and return a plus b. And now const sum is equal to add two numbers and give two numbers 10 and 20. So here 10 and 20 is argument. So what is argument? So arguments are the actual values passed to the function when it's invoked, and here ab is a parameter. So what is parameters? Like parameters are placeholders listed in the function declaration. So they act as a variable within the function scope and are used to receive inputs when the function is called. So console sum. So you can see the sum is 30. So that means we pass two arguments 10 and 20. That means a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. After return a value a plus b. That means 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. And this 30 is stored in sum. And after print the sum, we got 30. Also we check the type of sum, and it gives number. So 30 is a number. So type of sum is 30. Let us let us declare another functions for convert lowercase to uppercase. So for that functions convert to uppercase, and it gives parameter like string a, and after that it return a dot to uppercase. So after that let us declare a variable let string is let str is equal to convert to uppercase and pass argument string like javascript. So now console this str, you can see javascript, it convert uppercase. So here is the use case of functions, like you can const str2 is equal to and call functions aniket. So str2, so you can see we declared function at once and we use multiple times. And another is we see about return keyword parameters arguments and what is the default parameters. Now you can see const str3 and convert uppercase, and inside if we don't pass any arguments and try to print str3, it gives error cannot read property of undefined, so it must be passed some values. So if we don't pass the values, then it takes default values like hello, and then you can see it will work correctly. So here is the work of default keyword. When we do not pass any string at argument, then it automatically fetch the default value hello. And if we pass the arguments any string, that it convert uppercase to that string. Let us run one more time. str4 is equal to convert to uppercase and give value good morning and str4. So now you can see JavaScript, Aniket, hello and good morning. When we do not pass any argument, then takes the default parameters. Now in argument, it takes also arrays, let's say arguments also takes an array object or other data types like string, numbers. Now let's say discuss about find the value inside array. So for that, let's say console this, and after that functions find index, and in parameter we pass array and target. After that, for let I is equal to 0, then I less than equal to array dot length and I plus plus. We already see for loop, and if array I is equal to target, then return I. If not found the target inside array, then return -1. So call this function. Let's call find value 1 and give find indexes. So here need to pass array. So make array is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6, and inside we need to pass array, and after that target value which we want to find like 4, and then console find value 1. So you can see third index. So array has a 0 based indexing. So 0, 1, 2 and 3. So it finds the index of 4. And let us try to find index of 11. So it print -1 because 11 is not present into array. So here is the use case of functions, how to use multiple time, and let's say const find val 2 and find index. Inside we pass another custom array our like 11, 22, 33 and 44, and try to find 33 index, and console find value 2. So you can see it gives second index. So here 0, 1 and 2 at second index present 33 value. It iterate for loop when array value is become when array's value is equal to our target value, then return index, and after completing for loop, if not find, then return -1. That means Target is not present in array. So let's say print 1 1 and it gives -1 because 1 1 1 is not present into array. So here is the brief video about return keyword, parameters, arguments, and default parameters. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about different ways to define a functions. So first of all, the first way is function declaration. So here is the traditional way which we already discussed in previous video, how to create or define a function. Same that, but create a functions like greet and pass the parameter name. Inside we console using template string and hello and pass the name. So first of all greet and give argument name alias. Now JavaScript file and you can see hello alias. You can also use return keyword also. So comment out and use the return keyword, and after that you need to store this value into another variable. So for that const gr is equal to console gr variable. So you got same output. Now you know when we use return keyword, then store into this value into variables. So now comment out or remove return keyword. So here is the traditional way to declare a functions. So another way is function expression. Functions expression. And for that we give a variable greet and that print out this code and give a functions with name and console into template string hello and after that name. So you can access and pass the name Bob. Now you can see hello Bob. So here is the method of functions expression. So the functions expression assign an anonymous function to a variable. So here you can see we not provide a function name. So it called anonymous functions. After that another is arrow functions. Arrow functions which is introduced in new version of JavaScript is called ES6 or ES15. And after that const, let's say this code and const greet is equal to pass the parameters and after that console into template string hello and give name variable. After that call Charlie. So here is the syntax of arrow functions, and another is IIFE functions. That means immediately invoked function expression. That means function that immediately executed after creation. Often use create a private scope. So in next video we will see about what is private scope and public global scope. So here is the function and give parameter, and after that console hello and pass variable parameters. So after we need to directly pass the argument and run the code. You can see hello David. So here is the few ways to declare or define a function. Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about what is better way or convenient way to define or create a functions. We already discussed in last video that how many ways we can create or define a functions. So in this video common use method is first one is traditional method, and another method is arrow functions, which is highly used in React.js. All other frameworks are based on JavaScript. Functions reduce the size of code. So first of all, let's say create one traditional like find. So let us say create functions find number is even or not. So for that, first of all, functions then is even and pass the parameter if and percentage by 2 is equal to 0, then return true, otherwise return false. And now const is even 1, then inside is even pass the argument, let's say 11, and after console is even. So these functions return a boolean. Let's say first of all run the JavaScript file, and now is even 1. So it prints false. 11 is not a even number. Pass a 10. Yes, it is working. Now we also use arrow functions for that. So for that, let us first of all comment this code, and after that decide const is even functions, and then pass the parameters. After that num percentage by 2 is equal to 0. So here is the small code using arrow function. For one line code, you not need to use return keyword. So you can see it gives the same output. You can see true. So here is the small code size with arrow function. What it does is even functions name. After that pass the parameter. Here is the parameter, and after this arrow functions returns if number remainder by 2 and it prints 0, then return true, otherwise false. So here is the how we reduce the size of code using arrow functions. And now practice other examples. So let us create here using arrow functions const is odd is equal to pass the parameter, and then if you using this way, then also you can use return num percentage by 2 is equal to 11. Now const is odd 1, and then call function or is odd, pass the 11, and let us print is odd 1. is odd one, and here is not id yours. So first of all, comment out these functions, run the javascript file. Now you can see true value. So if you don't want to return keyword, then remove this, and also we need to remove this curly braces. So now it is also correctly working. So if you want to use return keyword, then inside curly braces you need to write return keyword. And another way is concat array. Let us we use traditional array method. We see both traditional and arrow functions, so you can understand better. First of all, using traditional method, let's say function and concat array, and it inside parameters it gives two array 1, array 2. So inside function, what is return array 1. We already see method concat and then pass array 2. So now const array 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and const array 2 gives 7, 8, 9. After that, const const new array and pass and call the function concat array. Inside pass the two array 1, array 2, and console and then print new array. So you can see here is the concat. So you can see here is our merged array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. And now let us try to define with arrow functions. So console this, copy, and also comment out, and using arrow functions to define a function const concat array is equal to, and it has parameter array 1 and array 2, and after that return array 1 dot concat and pass array 2. So you can see it prints same output. So here is the two way you can use traditional way as well as arrow functions. And if we don't use return keyword, so now it is one line function. So you can see same output. And after, let us also comment out this code and multiply all values in array. So for that, let's say define one functions multiply array and pass the parameter array and number whichever we want to multiply with array. So for that, for let I is equal to 0 and then I less than array dot length, and after that I plus plus. So inside, let's say define one another array 2 and initially empty array. Now array 2 is equal to array 1 multiply with n, and after that return array 2. Const new array is equal to multiply with array, pass the array like 2, 3, 4, 5, and pass the number. Let's say we want to multiply with 4. and after that console new array. So here it gives error array 2 is equal to array I into n. Here we need to pass array to I. Now it prints correctly, clear, and you can see it will multiply with 4 with all elements. Let's say multiply with 10. Now you can see 20, 30, 40, and 50. So here is the brief video about arrow functions and traditional way to define a functions. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about what is rest parameters in functions and when to use rest parameters. So when dealing with functions that need to handle undefined or many numbers of arguments, so you can use rest parameter. So first of all, let us create a functions and then calculate sum. So here we need to spread or parameters rest, and other than you can give any name rather than rest, and after that let sum 0 and using for loop for let num of rest, or let's say here gives numbers num of numbers, and after that sum is equal to sum plus num. So you can see, and after that return sum. So for that const sum1 is equal to calculate sum, and here we want to pass as many as argument we want. Let's say pass 4 argument and console sum1. First of all clear and then run a JavaScript file, so you can see 100. If you don't use rest parameters, so you use a b c d, but if you have 1000 of argument, then it is convenient way to use spread the all arguments and give numbers or use rest parameters. So here is the functions using rest parameters. You can put as many as arguments and it work correctly. And another is concat a string with rest parameters. So function concat string, and inside there are strings, and after that we already discussed about join keyword. So it returns strings dot join, and here pass separator pass a separator. After that const concat str is equal to call the functions concat string, and first of all pass the separator, and after that pass apple, then banana, then grapes, then watermelon, also pass orange, and run the JavaScript. First of all print concat string. So you can see apple, banana, grapes, watermelon, oranges. We already discussed about join method in previous videos. Tr1, and for this time we use pipe, and also concat, and also console str1. Now you can see the output. And another is find the maximum number among all arguments. So for that, let's say create functions find max, and inside using rest, and after that return. In JavaScript there is functions math.max and pass rest and console and create a variable const max1 is equal to find max and pass the 10, 3, 20, 40, 52, and after console maxi1. So you can see it prints maximum number of among all arguments. So you can see the maximum number is triple one among the all arguments. So here is the brief video about REST parameters and when we use REST parameters in functions. Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about what is hoisting and temporal dead zone in JavaScript. So hoisting is a JavaScript's behavior of moving variable and function declaration to the top of their containing scope during compilation time before code execution. So in simple word, hoisting is a call a function or access a value before before its initialization. So for that, let's say create one function my fun and console hello JavaScript, and after that a functions my func. First of all, clear the out terminal, and you can see it prints hello JavaScript. But call a function or access a functions before its initialization. So now here it's also correctly working. It prints hello JavaScript. So that means this function is hoisted, and it is not just for hoisted, and it is not just for functions. Let us create where keyword where num is equal to 10 and console my num, and it prints 10. And if you try to access those variable before initialize, then you can see it prints undefined. It not give an error, but it prints undefined. And in case of, let's say first console this. So now let us create one variable with let keyword. Let num1 is equal to 20 and try to access num1, clear the console, and it prints 20. And if we want try to access before it initialization, then it gives error cannot access before initialization. So and this happen same with const keyword. Const num1 is equal to 30 and try to access is num1, num2, it prints same cannot access num2 before initialization. So it gives a reference error, gives reference error, or it called temporal dead zone. In case of where keyword is not gives an error, not give an error, but print undefined. A temporal dead zone is temporal dead zone. Temporal dead zone in JavaScript refer to the phase between creation of scope and the actual declaration of the variable using let or const keyword, during which accessing the variable result it throw an reference error. Like here, we got an reference error. Cannot access values before its initialization. So during this period, even though variable is technically in memory, but it is not initialized and therefore you cannot access it. So it called a temporal date zone. So temporal date zone for late and const keyword. And here is the for hosting. So in upcoming videos, we will more discussing about these concepts. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about how to create or define functions inside functions. So for that, let us create outer function and here print outer function is executing, and after that create another function inside outer functions, inner function, and also console inner function is executed. And after that, if we want to call outer functions, then simply call outer functions and run the JavaScript file. You can see outer functions is executed. And after that, if we want to also call inner functions, then inner function, now you can see outer function is executed and after that inner function is executed. So here also you use hosting. Now you can see changes. So first of all, inner function is executed and outer function is executed because of hosting. We already discussed in previous video how to access or call a functions before its initialization. So after that functions, let us copy paste this code and here you can use return keyword, return inner function. So you can see the same output. Here we use return keyword. So return the inner functions after completed outer function is executed. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about what is lexical scope. So the lexical scope means that scope of a variable is defined by its position in the source code's physical structure and it remains the same throughout the execution of the code regardless where it is called from. So let us understand by one example. We already discussed about how to create functions inside functions in previous video. So first of all create function, outer function, and inside create another function, inner function, and after that call inner function and here call outer functions. So let us declare one variable with const keyword, const num is equal to 10 and then try to print num. In the JavaScript file you can see it printed 10. So this num accessed by the inner, so this num is accessed by inner functions num. And now let us initialize with same variable name and put value 20. So it print 10. But now when we comment this code, you can see it prints 20. So what is this functions num doing. So for that, if num was not find by this inside this inner function, so they try to access via their lexical environment. So here inner functions lexical environment is outer functions. So if num variable is not present in inside inner function, that try to find inside that lexical environment. That means that find inside outer functions, and if also outer function has not find, then it will find to global environment. So you can see 30 prints, and if it is find, then it prints 10. But if num is not present in their scope, so it will find with the lexical environment. And also let us try to understand with different example. Say let num1 is equal to 20, and function outer functions, here console num1, and then function inner functions, and here console num2, and call inner function, and call the outer function. So you can see num2 is not defined. So if we want to define num2 at the lexical environment in outer functions, then const num2 is equal to 40. Now you can see the num1 is not defined in outer functions. So they try to find out their lexical environment, that means global environment. So here is the global environment, and you can see it prints 20. And after that we define num2 inside outer functions, and we want to call within inner functions. So here check if num2 is present in inner function or not. So if it is present, if present, then print value. Otherwise, find the variable within that lexical scope, lexical environment. So if here const num2 is 10, then print directly 10. And if it is not present, after that they find out their lexical environment. So here is the brief video about what is lexical scope, lexical environment, and how to access values. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about what is function scope and block scope. And so first of all, function scope. So the function scope means that variable declared inside a function is accessible within the functions and any nested functions inside it, but not outside the function. So let us understand with one example. Function create my func, and inside if block, let us declare one variable with where keyword, where name is equal to JavaScript, and then console name. Run the JavaScript file. We need to call function. Now you can see, first of all, clear the console. Run again. You can see JavaScript printed. And what if we print here, and you can see it prints JavaScript two times. So access name variable here due to function scope. So when we declare a variable with where keyword, So when we declare a variable with where keyword, then it variable accessible within the whole functions. So here name declare with where inside if block, but due to function scope it accessible throughout these whole functions. And after that, what is block scope? So let's say create another functions my function, and after that here let it is equal to high, and also create one declarable with const variable. Const is equal to JavaScript. Now console it, and also console codes. So you can see, first of all we need to call the function. You can see it prints hi JavaScript. And now if we try to print outside the if block, then we got an error, reference error, grid is not defined. So what that, because of it is not defined. So here let and codes variable declared with let and const keyword. So they are represent from the block scope. They are only accessible within this block. Inside if block, let and const variable are accessible. Outside the block, let and const variable does not accessible. So we say that where from function scope and let const from block scope. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about what is params destructuring. In previous video, we already discussed about what is array destructuring and object destructuring. And destructure means extract the value and store into another variables. So in this video, we will exactly doing same things like extract the value from object or array and pass as a parameters into functions. So let us say create one object const user is equal to name Aniket and age 21, and then country India. Now create a function, and after that let us give my func name, and after that if we want to extract the value my name, then simply we can do const name age and country and pass user and console name. So first of all run the JavaScript file. You can see it extract the values and print name. So same thing doing in functions. Here pass the name and age and country, and let's say print into template string name name variable, and after that console let us use simple double quotation age and then pass age. So that string is very useful when we deal with many number of variable, and and it is introduced in new version of JavaScript is called ES6 or ES25 2015. Country and pass country variable. So after that, let us call the functions myfunc, and here we need to pass our object at user. So now run the JavaScript file and you can see name is Aniket, age is country and so now you can see name is Aniket, age 21 and country India. So here is the using object restructuring in function parameters. Now, now let us discuss about using array restructuring in function parameters. So for that, so now create one function array destruct, and here after that let us define one array coordinate and pass 20 and 30. So after that, how to extract values from array we already discussed in previous videos, like const x and y into brackets, and after that pass array. So let us print once. So you can see it prints 20, 30. So how to pass array destruct, and inside pass coordinates array, and here simply do x and y, and after that print x coordinate, and here y. So now print once. So you can see 20 and 13. Here is about array destructuring into functions parameter. So here is the brief video how params destructuring works. Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about what is callback function, why use callback functions. So first of all, callback function is a function passed as an argument to another function which is then executed within the outer function to complete some kind of operation or task. Callbacks are often used to handle asynchronous tasks or to make function more flexible and reusable. So function passed as an argument to another function. Let us understand with one code. So for that, let us create one function greet, and after that pass two parameters name and callback. Name and callback, and inside console hello and print name. After that, call to callback function. So what is callback functions? We will discuss here. Create another function say goodbye, and here also console goodbye. Now call the greet function, and it takes two arguments, first name and pass the name alias, and second is callback. Here is the callback function. So we pass the say goodbye function. Now run the JavaScript file so you can understand. And again, hello allies, goodbye. It prints hello allies and then call the another function which is we passed say goodbye functions. So after hello allies prints say goodbye functions invoke and it prints goodbye, you can see. And you can give any name like which is call or anything you want to give name and same output. And also let us understand with second example function process array and inside take array and also one callback functions. And after that let iterate array and after that I less than array dot length and I plus plus. Then use callback functions and inside pass array of I. And here let us create one another function log value and after console value. So this is nothing but it prints all values inside array using log value function. And after that let us declare one array and after that all the functions and pass array number and that pass callback function. So what is our callback function? Callback function is log value. So in callback function we pass argument array of I which is number, and here also log value takes a parameter of like value, so it prints value. You can see 1 2 3 4 and 5. So also if we want to multiply values with 2 or 3 or any multiplier, so here pass another arguments const multiplier and let's say pass multiply with 3 and inside pass the argument multiplier and also inside process array. So multiply with value, here we need to multiply with multiplier. And now console, so you can see 3 6 9 12 and 15. So callbacks are crucial to handling asynchronous task. We will discuss later what is asynchronous task and how to create async await functions. So handle asynchronous task like fetching data from server or perform any operation. And after that it is used to flexible function and then allow for custom actions to be executed in specific point. We will discuss in upcoming videos in more detail with the callback functions and also functions returns functions. Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about function return functions. So in JavaScript, function returning functions refer to the concept of higher order functions that when invoked return another functions. In previous video we already discussed how to return functions inside functions. but in this video we will more discuss about that. So let us create function and name create adder parameter x, and after that here return function. This function has no name, so it called anonymous function. And here return x plus y. We need to pass parameter y into inner functions. So these functions return add two values. Let us call const add 1 and call create adder and pass the parameter first 5, and after that console add 1 and pass 4. So you can see, let us run a JavaScript file, then you can see addition 5 plus 4 9. Here also you can console x, value of x, and after console value of y. So it prints x 5 and y 4. So inside create adder we pass the argument 5, so x become 5 and y become 4. Another way to write and call these functions, console then create adder and inside 5 and into another bracket inside give 2, so it prints 7. So here is the few ways that you can call the function. So let us understand with second example. Function create counter, and after that let count is equal to 0 and return another function. Let's say count increment by 2, and after that it return count. So this function return count. Now counter is equal to create counter and after call counter. So here you can see 2. Let us comment this code. So you can see here prints 2. If we call once again, then it become 4 increment by 2. Brief video about functions, return functions, and how to call functions.